Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC, Pirates basketball and baseball, and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia, Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next. What is going on, everyone? Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Thrift, Barringer, Richard, Holdridge, and we hope you had a very, very Merry Christmas, and we appreciate you joining us here on this late Thursday night. Hope you enjoyed the holidays. We appreciate the support, and we hope you enjoyed your time with your family. Richard, I know you did.
Yes, very much so, Thrift. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you too. Had a great time with the family, but now it's time to get back to work. We've got some fantastic couple of days of basketball, and I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm super excited as well, Richard. Got a lot that we're going to be doing here in the next couple of days. A lot of basketball. We're going to also be telling you about what's been happening around the world in high school basketball in our area. We'll touch on some NBA, and then also try to talk a little bit about, though, Richard, what happened yesterday in the NBA and a little NFL too. We are presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC, Buffalo Rock, Gordy Eye Care, and CVCC. All right, I do want to start first with Monday night. So we already rehashed Monday night show about the fact that we did the Muscogee Christmas Showcase. We broadcasted the West Central Georgia FCA All-Star Game. But then on Monday, Carver, an undefeated team, ranked #1 in 2A according to Sandy Spiel, and I don't think any other news outlet would disagree. And if they do, I don't know what they've been watching or who they've been watching.
Yeah.
They went on the road and played a team that went to the Final Four last year in 6A. They're 5A this year in Lee County. I went last year to watch Pacelli play in one of the biggest tournaments they have, Christmas tournaments they had. 16 teams from Florida, Georgia, and Alabama that all played in it, and it was a lot of fun. But that gym is raucous. It is a toxic and crazy of an atmosphere that there is in high school basketball. Coach Kervin Davis has a team that went to the Final Four last year and the state runner-up the year before. This year's team had only one loss, and Carver went in there. Now with Tristan Gibbons, Ace Thomas, and Jacoby Caslin, and upset. I think this is a big win for these Carver Tigers, and took down Lee County on the road. How about Coach Pembroke's team and the Carver Tigers? Tony Montgomery was fantastic. Tobias Tolbert is one of the elite shot blockers in the entire country, not just the state. Now you're adding another shot blocker in Gibbons. Then you're adding Caslin. And these guys are not even in basketball shape yet. So let them start getting that cohesiveness as a team. This is about as deep as a team we have seen since last year's Pacelli State Championship. But what a win for the Carver Tigers to take down Lee County.
Yeah, I'm excited what Carver's been doing. And we've had a chance to see them a couple times on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. They got a tough non-conference schedule, but I think they are just going to run away with this region. I know that Spencer's good, and Sumter County is good as well. I thought that Shaw has had some improvement, especially after beating Russell County. I just don't think anybody's going to be stopping Carver. And this is how deep the Carver Tigers were. You know, they had a player on their team last year, a very good contributor named Champ Simpson, who's, by the way, averaging 24 points a game for Chatco. I mean, that's how deep Carver has been, and the job that Coach Pembroke has done has just been phenomenal. They went to the Final Four last year, and I expect right now they are ranked number 1, and I expect them to be one of the favorites to win the championship. We could possibly have a football championship and a basketball championship for the Carver Tigers, first time since 2019. Well, we're rooting for them, and they look like to be one of the favorites in 2A.
Yeah, and it would be and they are, I think, a prohibited favorite in 2A. I think
yeah, no question.
They're that dominant of a team right now. But with that being said, because it wasn't just because of getting this win on Monday, we would have loved to go on down to Lee County and get this in Albany, but we weren't able to do that. I needed a few days off. I was recuperating from, and you still hear it, sinus infections and everything else. Richard was out of town. I'm like, let me give my guys a break. But they take on, in a rematch of last year's 3A semifinal, Sandy Creek in the Lemon Street Classic, Marietta High School, and it is going to be a showdown. And I couldn't turn this one up. I was like, I don't care if it's a 2-hour drive. I said, Chris, hop in my truck. We're making it. And we're going to be there live tomorrow. So not only from the Board Awards, which we'll talk about in just a moment, all the matchups, we will be live, and I will be there to call the Sandy Creek Carver rematch in the Lemon Street Classic. That is at 2:45 p.m. tomorrow afternoon.
Absolutely.
I am so excited about this. And I honestly think Carver, last year, what they didn't have was size. Now you have the size of Givens. You got Tobias Tolbert, who has become a man amongst boys. You got Caslin and you got Thomas, along with TJ Woodson, that we hope to be back healthy. He still didn't even play on Monday. That's the second leading scorer on the team. Truesdale, I mean, the team is loaded. They're full of talent, and I cannot wait to see them play a really good Sandy Creek team who, you know, by the way, has won multiple state championships in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and by the way, on Saturday, they take on a very talented 8-2 Etowah team out of Woodstock, Georgia. The reason why I mention that, because I do have family up in Woodstock. My nieces and nephews went to Woodstock High. I just wanted to make sure to give them a shout out. But yeah, Etowah, a very talented team, also playing in the Lemon Street Classic on Saturday.
I think that's the only time we'll talk about Etowah on here. So
I think so. They finally made it on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Richard was going to get that Etowah win. Sandy Creek, by the way, comes in 7-1, and their only loss of the season is to Gainesville, who is 10-4 on the season.
And they're a 5A school, and didn't Deshaun Watson play basketball?
Yeah, Gainesville is loaded. Be ready tomorrow, 2:45. I'd like Carver in this game. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a lot of highlights, a lot of dunks. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I can't wait to call this one. And I think this is, looking at Carver's schedule, this will be one of their toughest tests. Now, obviously, Lee County was the toughest test so far on the season when they just won on Monday. They win this against Sandy Creek. And they able to, let's say they beat Etowah and New Manchester, and they stay undefeated through these 4 games. Lee County, Sandy Creek, Etowah, and New Manchester. I honestly think Carver is one of the best teams in the entire state. I don't think it matters about classification anymore. And I think that they beat Sandy Creek tomorrow, you already got to put them in that category. So they go in 7-0, Sandy Creek 7-1. It is a prime time matchup, and you're only going to get it here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, GAS Live broadcast page and YouTube channel. We'll start broadcasting that at about 2:30, 2:35. We'll try to go live, make sure everybody can tune in. They said they should be on time with these games. You know how some of these classic goes. Sometimes they get behind. They're trying to play a lot of games in a certain amount of time frame.
Right.
So we'll see if they can able to stay on time with it. And if they are, we'll be live there at 2:45 tomorrow from Marietta High School.
Yeah, the 2 times that we've had Carver on Georgia Alabama Sports Live this season, 87-31 against Creekside. I was on the call for that. And then Rick Beach was on the call for Harris County on December the 10th. They won that game 103-25. all these scores have been blowouts, with the exception of the game on Monday against Lee County. But I cannot wait for this schedule, especially when they're taking on region play. Will start Hardaway January the 10th, and then they got to turn around and take on Spencer January the 11th. It's going to be exciting. Just get ready, because
sign me up for
Carver's
January 11th.
Yeah, must watch TV on Georgia Alabama Sports Live for Carver when they get ready for region play.
And then they play Spencer again January the 30th.
Yeah, I do want to mention they have a region game that will get rescheduled. They were supposed to play Shaw on the 17th, but the football team just happened to play in the state championship. So that game will be rescheduled. We just don't know when.
Yeah, and we look forward to seeing that. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if any reason why maybe Spencer has a chance to be in the vicinity of how good this Carver team is. All right, let's move on. And we will be live tomorrow from the Border Wars. And Richard, I'll let you throw up that graphic, if you will. Glenwood's Border Wars. Coach Padue's been putting this on for 15 to 20 years now. We've been there the last 2 years. The first year was a showcase, kind of like what this year is, which, you play 2 games in 2 days against 2 different teams. Last year, they did a 3-day format with 8 teams and had a tournament championship. But this year, we went back to the showcase, 10 games in 2 days. That is 20 games. We won't be getting all 20. We will be getting 7 of 10 tomorrow, and maybe 3 for sure on Saturday, the Calvary and the 2 Glenwood games. We may add a few more, but we plan on getting at least 10 games out of the 20 here in the next 2 days, and we look forward to being there. We're going to start off tomorrow with Lee Scott and Chatco. So we're going to see Curtis Simpson's son, Champ Simpson, and we can't wait to see both those teams. And we're going to give you Valley and Deerfield Windsor. That should be fun. We'll stop streaming, and then we will re-pick up again at 3:15, where Calvary, Coach Gordon's team, will take on a really good Morgan County team out of Alabama. And then we will have Tuscaloosa Academy taking on Notre Dame, who's undefeated out of Marietta. And finally, we will end it with Glenwood taking on Marion County. Those are the final 2 games for girls and boys. So we're really showcasing more about Glenwood and Calvary, the 2 private schools. We're getting Carver. We're trying to get every team around our area. We already got Russell County. We already got majority of the Muscogee County schools. We're going to get Carver now, and then add Calvary and Glenwood. We try to hit everyone right before we hit the New Year's Day break. So I know it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow, Richard. I know you're excited being there. It's your 3rd year in a row, too, and can't wait to start streaming at 9 o'clock in the morning. So 4 games starting at 9, stop streaming, and then we'll pick back up at 3:15 and continue through the rest of the day.
I'm really excited to be on the call for those first 4 games. 9 o'clock, the Lee Scott girls, who, by the way, lost to Glenwood in the AISA championship. I was there along with Matthew White on the call, which they had to play Glenwood 5 times that year. Clark Yvott, their leading scorer, who is a freshman. She was one of their top players as an 8th grader last year. And they're taking on a Chatco team that went 22-8 and lost in the quarterfinals to Clinch County. Chatco, Jessica Carter was their leading scorer from last year's team. They're off to a slow start, 2-8, but they've played a lot of tough games, including they've played Brookstone, they played Columbus, they played Shaw. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. And then that boys matchup, I cannot wait to see Champ Simpson, who's averaging 24.6 a game.
Hayden Harper.
Against Hayden Harper? Sign me up for that. At Lee Scott Academy, the defending AISA champions, get this, Thrift, 16-1. What a start for Coach Johnson and Lee Scott Academy, taking on Chatco. Right now it's 5-5. It's still early on in the season, but I think that when you add a Champ Simpson to your team, I think that Chatco is going to be just dynamic. And I'm really excited that we get to feature Chatco here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. They have not been on Georgia Alabama Sports Live yet. But I'm looking forward to that. And then we got Valley and Deerfield Windsor. We were on the call for Deerfield Windsor girls team as they lost to Lakeview Academy in the GIAA championship at Columbus State. The Deerfield boys, they ended up taking on Glenwood in the Border War championship last year.
Yeah,
So
they did. Deerfield's a really good
yeah,
program, Richard, and
absolutely.
I'm glad that we're going to get to see them play against Calvary, against Coach Gordon's team on Saturday, and then Glenwood takes on Chatco, boys and girls, Saturday night. But tomorrow, 8 games, 7 from the Border Wars, and of course Sandy Creek and Carver. I'm going to be calling from 2 different locations. I'll be from the Lemon Street Classic. Richard, you're going to do the first 6 games from the Border Wars. I mean, you're going to call together Glenwood boys taking on Chatco. I may even make it for the girls and be your color, depending on how on time. I tell you, I told Coach Purdue this when we went there earlier today to set up. 10 games, 8 games is one thing. And even then, the Muskogee County Showcase was behind at least 30, 45 minutes for that last one on Saturday. 10 games, man, I'm crossing my fingers, but I feel like you're going to be at least 30 minutes behind. And if that's the case, I'm definitely going to be there for that girls and boys game and looking forward to being there with you.
Yeah, you've done that before when you made that trip from Montgomery all the way to Woodstock to call the
two championships,
baseball championships. So, I'm looking forward to it. My 3rd year doing the Border Wars. I remember 2 years ago, we did it off your phone, 2022. That Lee Scott Pacelli boys game, that was a classic. That was really just and then the Pacelli JV team ended up taking on Macon East. But this is really interesting because we now have public schools that are going to be in the Border Wars. I think we've had a public school before. I think that Quitman was in it. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. We get to see, the local smaller schools outside of the Chattahoochee Valley, like Marion County and Chatco. And then we'll actually get to see Valley and Beulah. And so it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I am too, Richard. I'm glad you're going to be able to be there to bring it in. It's going to be a lot of fun. So starting at 9 o'clock, you're going to get 4 games, and it's going to go to Carver, Sandy Creek, and then you're going to get 4 more games at the nighttime. So can't wait. 4 games. Actually, 9 games tomorrow. I said 8, but 9 games. So you got the first 4 Richard's going to be doing. Then Calvary starts it off again after you take your break. And in between that is Carver and Sandy Creek. I think one thing with the Carver Tigers is their guys getting in shape. If we see that, Richard, and we see them starting to knocking the rust off, they could win that game by 10 points or more. That's how talented they are. And if they make a statement like that, look out. So we'll see what Coach Pembroke has up his sleeve. And for the Glenwood Gators, and they take on Marion County, the girls, without Haley Palmore, they're having a tough time right now. I was talking with Coach Purdue. They're trying to find their identity. Their identity was Palmore. She was their offense and their playmaker. Right. They don't have her now. Who's stepping up against a good Marion County team? And for the boys team, they did a good job in Pigeon Forge. They lost to the eventual champion of the Pigeon Forge tournament in Tennessee. The first game of the tournament by 6. They won the next 2. They were the losers bracket champion. And Coach Purdue's boys team, I think they're in a right position to be competitive and maybe win a region championship this year. They want to make a statement against Marion County. I want to see Levi Pender get back on shape. Tyler Sykes has been the best player on the basketball court. And then Jadarian Holloway, his shot starts falling. You talk about one of the elite playmakers in our area, that point guard, the game's starting to slow down a little bit for him. I can't wait to see that matchup. And for Calvary, whenever they get fully healthy, the Calvary Knights are going to be a team to reckon with. They play a good Morgan County team, really good. If they don't have Hostin, which they're looking like they may not, they could have a tough time. So we'll see tomorrow. If they have a fully healthy team, Coach Gordon's team could come out on the right end. Remember, they had a tough week last week. They lost to Carver, which was expected. They lost to Tatnall, who is a really good team in the GIAA, and they lost to Spencer. And again, this was out one of their best players in Dylan Hostin. So we'll see. But hopefully they can come out and start playing strong these next 2 games in the Border Wars.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Glenwood Gators and Lady Gators, they'll start things off Friday against Marion County out of Buena Vista. And the Calvary boys, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they do against Morgan County. And then on Saturday, we're going to start things off bright and early Saturday morning against a very talented Deerfield-Windsor team, also out of the GIAA. But yeah, as always, I mean, this is the 3rd year that we've been doing Border Wars. I've always looked forward to this. And, Coach Dusty Purdue and his team, They do a great job hosting this event. I mean,
Yep.
they're making sure that the Gatorade is ready to go, that everything is lined up for the teams that are coming in. They're allowing the teams to practice the night before and just to get the gymnasium ready, and they do a fantastic job hosting.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been a lot of fun being able to be a part of that here these last couple of years. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll keep going and talk a little bit about what happened on Christmas Day with the NFL, the NBA, and then we're going to get out of here. It's a short show. Just wanted to say, hey, we're thinking about you and looking forward to a busy week of basketball here. 11 games, maybe 12 here in the next 2 days.
Yeah.
Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show will be right back after this.
You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
We're hammering down high prices at Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. New Chevy Silverado 4x4 crew cabs discounted up to $14,000 off. Brand new 2025 Chevy Equinox compact SUV with high-tech features discounted up to $4,000 off. Enjoy your holidays with no payments until February. Choose from over 500 new and used on the lot or on the way. GlennSmith.com. Get ready to smile.
And welcome back, everyone. We appreciate Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC for being one of our presenting sponsors. And let us continue on here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Richard, do you have that graphic of unsolicited? I'd like to throw that up here.
Absolutely. Yes, I do.
All right, couple things I wanted to talk about. For one, I'm to the point now, and I've stayed the course about the Buffalo Bills and Lions being my Super Bowl pick. Okay. And I'm not ready to waver. But as long as 15 is wearing the jersey for the Chiefs, I don't know if they're ever going to lose. They're 15-1. They played their best game of the season against a reeling Steelers team.
No question.
And the Kansas City Chiefs now clinch first place. They don't need to play next week. They'll finish 15-2, probably lose to the Broncos because the Broncos want to make the playoffs. I don't know if I can bet against them, man. If it becomes Chiefs Bills and Bills are at the Chiefs, do I believe in Josh Allen or do I believe in Patrick Mahomes? That's the biggest question. Or if it's Ravens, the Ravens look dominant and the Texans look like a shell of themselves now without Tank Dell. There'll be a first-round exit this year. Do I believe in the Ravens? Because I think it's a three-team race. I think it's Ravens, I think it's Chiefs, and I think it's the Buffalo Bills. Do I think either one of those teams can go into Kansas City and win? I don't know, man. I'm starting to lean more and more towards I think we're going to get the Chiefs back in the Super Bowl once again. And for the first time maybe in Super Bowl history, get a team that's going to three-peat. It didn't happen with the New England Patriots. Remember in 2005, they ended up getting blown out in the second round by the Denver Broncos. We haven't had a back-to-back champion since that New England Patriots team. Okay. So I don't know, Rich. I don't know where I'm leaning. But I like the way they're playing right now. And I think now you're seeing Mahomes start playing Mahomes-like things. The defense is loaded. I think I'm getting close to, all right, I'm going to have to go ahead and change it up and go Chiefs in the Super Bowl. What'd you learn from Christmas Day?
Oh, well, first of all, Netflix, bravo.
For fixing the problem.
You did a great job making sure that the stream was perfect. I've been getting a lot of rave reviews about the Beyonce halftime show in the Texans-Ravens game. Some people said it was pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I really wasn't paying attention. I just felt like the games really were not compelling, but I thought that Netflix did a good job having them on Netflix so people don't try to switch from Netflix to try to watch the NBA like they would do if that was on on YouTube TV or on like Sling. Right. And by the way, did you see what LeBron said after the win against the Golden State Warriors?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold your thought. I don't want to talk about that because I was going to get into that. I just want to talk about the Chiefs right now. Do you think the Chiefs are the best team in football?
Yeah, there's no question. The Chiefs are playing like Super Bowl champions, and this is really what they do. They actually they used luck to get to this point. Now they're putting the foot on the gas pedal to the metal, and they just punched a Steelers team in the mouth that I don't know. I think Steelers were up to this point. They were 10-3. They lose to Baltimore. 4 days later, they lose to Kansas City. And now it looks like the Ravens are going to win that division. I think the Steelers are not as good as their regular season record indicated. And I think they lose to the Bengals next week. And they still get in the playoffs, but yeah, they're going to be limping into the playoffs. I don't think there's anybody that's going to beat the Chiefs. I'll be honest with you.
And I don't think it's the Bills. If it is a team, I think if it would be the Baltimore Ravens, because I think their ceiling can equal. If everybody's playing their best, the Chiefs are the best team. I think the Ravens would be the second best team, and that's even over the Lions. And I want to make this statement now after their dominant performance over, again, a team that has kind of lost their luster in the Houston Texans, and that's Lamar Jackson. I don't know why it's a discussion anymore, other than I get that the Bills have a better record. He has 39 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He has 11 rushing touchdowns and close to 900 yards running on the ground. He is right now playing better than anybody else in the National Football League. And yes, I like the way Mahomes is playing. If you're asking me who am I taking in the playoffs, I mean, there's no question. This is not a playoff award. This is a regular season award, Richard. How is he not the favorite? I know Josh Allen, who has 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He may have like 700 yards rushing. I know he has over 10 rushing touchdowns. I think it's like 12 on the season. He's trying to get up there to 15. But remember, they played Baltimore early in the season and lost 35-10. So they lost a head-to-head against them. I don't care if they have the better record. I think if Lamar Jackson wins next week, he has 40 touchdown passes. He's your back-to-back MVP. What do you think?
I agree. First of all, the Ravens are 11-5. I'm looking at their schedule. How did they lose to the Raiders and the Browns? That just doesn't make any sense. I mean, they're a lot better than their 11-5 record. I do think that they're going to play Buffalo in the divisional round. They'll be a 3 seed. Buffalo will be a number 2 seed.
Sign me up for that one, Richard.
That is going to be like the winner of that. I think the Chiefs are going to have such an easy path to the AFC Championship. They've already locked in the number 1 seed. They could start resting Patrick Mahomes and play Carson Wentz against the Broncos week 18. But Patrick Mahomes has got a high ankle sprain, I guess. I mean, he didn't look like he did. But I think that the Chiefs will await the winner of Baltimore and Buffalo, and I think that they are going to beat each other up so bad that the Chiefs are going to have just an easy path back to the Super Bowl.
I think that's a good point, Richard, because they got to take on each other. Remember, the Chiefs will have to play probably the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to take down the Texans, and the Chargers will be the 5 seed. Texans will be the 4, and the Chargers will lose to the Chiefs. Chiefs will make it back to the AFC Championship game. That is now, I think, 7 straight years. And I know the record for New England was 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 8. So the Chiefs are now 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. They make it this year. They'll be at 7. That's incredible, man. The fact that we're seeing that right after what we just saw from New England and Tom Brady, which we thought was an anomaly, and you're seeing Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes do it right after they get done. Literally, 2018 is when Kansas City's run started. When did New England's run in? 2018.
Yeah.
I mean, it is crazy that we're getting that right now in the NFL, and it's kind of eerily similar to Alabama and Georgia, Kirby Smart and Nick Saban, how the torch was passed on.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I'll tell you what, Andy Reid gets 1 or 2 more. You got to start putting him in that conversation with the greatest of all time, Bill Belichick. I'll tell you that right now. All right, I want to switch gears and talk a little bit about the NBA. I agree with them. I don't think the NFL should, and we'll see the ratings. And obviously, for the 2 games the NFL had going, I don't think there's any competition. But why? I mean, can the NBA have something? And this is where the NBA and every other league is so afraid of competing with the NFL. in terms of ratings. I saw last week in the college football ratings, the NFL Saturday games got better ratings in the playoff games in college football. I mean, it doesn't matter. Okay, you're just not going to compete with it. It is a juggernaut. It is a runaway freight train. But I thought the NBA won yesterday. I really did. Both NFL games were trash. Mega matchups heading into it didn't pan out the way we thought. And then LeBron James and Steph Curry gave us another classic, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Wembanyama putting up 40 and 18. 7'4" guy shooting from the logo. Are you kidding me? Against the San Antonio Spurs. You had the Timberwolves and the Mavericks. Every game, it was a classic. Even the Nuggets game against the Suns, Celtics, and 76ers. How about the 76ers going into the Garden and taking down Boston? The NBA won, but they didn't win. In my mind, they had the better product, but yet it did not matter. So now it's a question of what do you do if you're the NBA? How do you get the eyeballs back on your product? Because eventually, LeBron James and Steph Curry are not going to be there anymore. Are people going to want to tune in to watch Luka Doncic the way they did LeBron James? Because the thing with LeBron James and Steph Curry, either you love them or you hate them, but you're going to watch them.
Yeah.
Okay? Does any other NBA star have that kind of moxie to themselves? I don't know. I don't really see it right now. Maybe a Tatum, maybe eventually be Luka Doncic, maybe be Nikola Jokic. Who's that bad guy? Who's that guy that everyone, this box office wants to see? And I don't think the NBA has put a number on it because they're having that problem with the Europeans being the best players in the game. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic. That's not relatable for Americans that are predominantly your biggest audience. So what do you do now? Okay, I listened to Bill Simmons. He was talking about this, Richard, and he didn't have a solution either. Normally, it's that you get that unicorn. You had Magic and Larry that turned into Michael Jordan, that turned into Kobe, that turned into LeBron. Who is that now? And I don't know. And we'll see what happens with the NBA. But I do want to say they won yesterday. By far the better product. Thoroughly enjoyed watching it. Did not like watching the NFL. But in the end, if you look at the ratings, I bet the NFL had better numbers.
Oh, yeah. It was the most watched live event on Netflix. The ratings did come out. I mean, the ratings were equivalent to watching a football game on TV because not everybody in this country has a Netflix subscription. So that was huge.
Yeah, but pretty much everyone does, Richard.
Yeah, Netflix won.
If you don't have a Netflix, I mean, come on now. I mean, what are we talking? Age groups of 60 and over?
You can't get Disney Plus, Peacock, Hulu, Paramount Plus. I mean, think about all the live streaming companies.
Hey, listen, you better not talk about live streaming companies, Richard. You work for one right now.
Yeah, I know. You got me there.
We're all about live streaming here at Georgia Alabama Sports Live. But I'm with you, man. It's changing the way we consume it, too. I think also the NBA's product has not been great. I mean, you see the effort. Yesterday was amazing, but during a day-to-day, game-to-game, it's not the same in the NFL. You just don't get the same energy. And obviously because it's 82 games, there's too many games.
Yeah.
Shrink the season. I think everyone's talked about, Charles Barkley said December 25th, Christmas, start the season then. Maybe that's the idea. But I thought, again, the NBA won yesterday, in my opinion, in terms of product and play. But if you look at the numbers, I'm willing to bet outside of that Lakers-Warriors game, I don't know how they look numbers-wise compared to everybody else. So I just wanted to add that. And by the way, a news came out out of Texas, Richard, I don't know if you saw this, that they're thinking about having a transfer portal for high school students. This is exactly what we need. We need a transfer portal for high school students. But here's the kicker. They only get to transfer once. And this is for athletic reasons. Because, nowadays you get away with you use a different address. It's for academic reasons, whatever it may be, while you go to a different school. Now they're going to make it where you can have the transfer, but once you transfer for that athletic reason, you cannot go to another school again. And maybe they're trying to, I don't know if this is something, obviously Texas is going to be the guinea pig. This is something that's going to expand because outside of Texas, I think Georgia's up there athletically with all their sports. I feel like they would be one of the first states that will want to do this too. What would this mean? Would be interesting. I don't know. I wanted to get your thoughts on when you saw this.
Well, I mean, we just witnessed Carver win a state championship, and Carver is a very talented football team with a lot of depth. I mean, I would love to see the balance of power, especially in Columbus, to see, the likes of Kendrick and Jordan to get some key football players that can help their team get competitive. I do think that it would really benefit the community if we had just a little bit more of just an equal opportunity for some of these schools to be competitive.
Right.
But yeah, I want to see what Texas does with this. It's going to be interesting. And, maybe Georgia might be there later to follow.
Exactly. Right, Richard. So we'll see how this rule pans out. I'm excited. Something's got to give. And same thing that's happening in college sports and how the way the game is nowadays, and it's about me all the time. And I think a lot of the problem that we are having with athletes is their ability to stick something out and have that hard work, okay, to get what they want, okay, to prove someone wrong. I don't think kids nowadays care about proving people wrong. And honestly, I don't think kids care the way they used to. I had this saying when I was a teacher, Richard, and I feel like I want to make a t-shirt about it. It's cool to care. Kids, it is cool to care about your grades. It's cool to care about your team. It's cool to care about wanting to get better. It's cool to show that you're upset and show emotion, not mad, but show that you care, that you want to work hard at your craft, that you care about what people think about you. You care about how you present yourself, and you care about how you're perceived. Like, I feel like sometimes that is the biggest thing with kids nowadays. They don't have that care in them as they once used to, especially back in our day. And I'm hoping that comes back, Richard. But at this transfer thing that's happening, and now we're seeing at the high school level, it starts at the AAU level. I want kids to care more about getting better and caring about the game and understanding the game instead about what's their best deal, what's the best team, who's going to give them the most minutes. It shouldn't be about that, okay? Obviously, you want to find a coach that believes in you, but sometimes you got to overcome adversity to be successful. And I don't think kids nowadays know what that means anymore. Because anytime you get a little adversity, let's transfer, let's move on, let's fire the coach. This guy's not for me. This system's not working. Sometimes you got to be willing to stick in. Now, that's not all the time. There are certain circumstances that it is best for you or your child or you as a player to move on, okay? There are circumstances. I'm not saying we should get rid of transfer portal, but that is not all of them. Okay. And if you are not willing to try to overcome that adversity and you exhausted all your resources to give yourself a chance to be successful, and you're still not given an opportunity, then you move on to the next chance. But I hope something gives because we got to change the landscape and the mindset of the modern day athlete, because I don't like where it's at right now. And then I'm going to end it with this. Kirk Herbstreit was not wrong in what he said. And if you're getting, I'm saying this as wholeheartedly as I can. Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith, when in terms of content creators, businessmen, and people that are doing exactly what I want to do, I look up to them. I want to emulate them. I want to get a book on how they made their platform and how they made their avenue. They created their own avenue. But in terms of listening to them talk about college football, I am not getting it from them. I'm getting it from Kirk Herbstreit, Joel Klatt, Josh Pate, a myriad of other guys. I am not turning to Shannon Sharp. I'm not turning to Stephen A. Smith. When I want to get entertained, yes. But this is not about entertainment. We're trying to get an opinion about a program and about a coach in Ryan Day. Now, I've been hard on him, and I have also said that I don't know if Ohio State's going to be willing to stay with him. Now, if I'm them, I'm willing to ride it out because I think this guy's eventually going to get you a national championship.
Yeah.
But Shannon Sharp coming on saying he was going to whoop his ass and saying that he was going to take him down and that he needed to be quiet. For one, Shannon, he didn't call you out by name. He said, "First Take, you've been there for 3 months. Settle down." Are you kidding me? You're standing up for a show that doesn't need you to stand up for them. Stephen A. Smith can handle it. Obviously, this is why they're good at what they do, because I think it is all for show. And then saying that Kirk Herbstreit had to call him. Are you kidding me? Like, over the top, overreacted to this. Kirk Herbstreit can say what he wants, just like Shannon and Steven can say what they want. I don't care if they're on the same team or not. It's funny, okay? The fact that you took it that seriously and talk about fighting, that's over the line. And I'm on the Kirk Herbstreit side of this because I don't think he said anything wrong. I don't think Chris Fowler said anything wrong. I'm not getting from Chris Russo, Mad Dog, nobody on there am I getting my insight from in college football. I'm just not doing it. I'll go there for other reasons. NBA, NFL, those are the things that I like to go listen to Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp talk about. When it comes to college football, obviously, they're there and talking about that because those are the big topics. I don't think they said anything wrong. I thought Kirk doing that was funny. I thought First Take using that as a topic is what they're supposed to do. But I think Shannon Sharp saying what he said was an overreaction.
I love First Take.
Herbstreit was right, by the way.
Yeah, he was right. I love Kirk Herbstreit when it comes to college football. I love First Take because it's entertaining. I mean, I was watching First Take back when it was 1st and 10 on Cold Pizza in the early 2000s.
I was too. That was Woody Page, man.
Woody Page and Skip Bayless, and then it turned to Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, and then it was Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless were on Undisputed, and now it's Shannon Sharp with a mixture of Stephen A. Smith, Chris Russo, and now Dan Orlovsky is kind of the guy they pick on. It's a very entertaining show, but they do.
They always got to have the guy to pick on.
Always got a guy. You always got a guy to have the guy to pick on. The Dan Orlovsky.
Will Kane.
Yes.
They used to
Max Kellerman.
Max Kellerman.
Well, he held his own though. I thought Max held his own. But First Take does not know anything about college football. He used to stay like LeVar Ball. You need to stay in your lane, like when he told Christine Leahy that on the Herd.
And then he also presented to tell Jason Whitlock. If it ain't about snacks, I'm not listening. I'm not listening to what he has to say.
It's entertaining, Thrift. That's why we do what we do. We're a live streaming company that live streams games, but we also have shows, and the shows can get entertaining. And sometimes you and I have an opinion about something, and it could be fun to have banter going back and forth.
Exactly right. By the way, we dropped our rankings for high school football. I'm going to bring them back out on Sunday. And then we're also going to have our high school basketball ones that'll drop on Monday. So,
can't wait.
Football will drop on Sunday. Basketball we'll show you on Sunday night on the show, and then we'll do a actual post about it on Monday. So, I haven't made a post about it yet. We got too much basketball tomorrow for it to get any traction. Same thing with Saturday. Probably should have done it on Monday or Tuesday when he made it, but I didn't do that. But Carver's number one for those who missed the show. All right, Richard, you can throw off unsolicited hot take. Remember, tomorrow we will be live from the Border Wars. Richard, 9 o'clock in the morning. 4 games starting at 9. Lee Scott Chaco boys, Lee Scott Chaco girls. Then we got Valley, Deerfield, Windsor girls and boys. We will take a break. We'll also be live from the Lemon Street Classic for Sandy Creek and Carver, rematch of the last year's 3A Final Four. One of the top teams in 3A, top 3 team in 3A, top team in 2A on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I'll be there for that. And then we'll pick up again, starting another stream, Richard, at 3:15, Morgan County, Calvary. And then we'll have Tuscaloosa Academy, Notre Dame, and then the Glenwood girls and boys taking on Marion County. So 9 games tomorrow, all on Georgia Alabama Sports Live YouTube channel and the Georgia Alabama Sports Live broadcast page. And then we'll be back again on Saturday. We're going to get Calvary, Deerfield, Windsor in the morning. And then we got the Glenwood games at night. And we may have a few more in between. And we'll also be giving out the Alex Quinney All-State Good Hands Player of the Game. So make sure to tune in. If you're there at the Border Wars, come and say hey and what's up. And we hope to see you next time and tomorrow on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Good night, everyone. Thank y'all so much for watching. We hope you had a Merry Christmas. Richard, any other final thoughts?
Yes. A couple of thoughts, Thrift. Pacelli won tonight against Therrell.
I forgot to say that.
State Farm Arena, 48-39 at State Farm Arena. And Malachi Hosley makes it official. He's going to Georgia Tech.
And I can't wait. We're going to try to have him on here and
definitely.
try to get an exclusive interview with Malachi Hosley. All right, we'll take our goodbyes. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow morning from the Border Wars. It's Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show saying good night, everyone.
Thank you for watching the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile.